Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Saur, Darkchylde, and welcome to Let's Replay Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Last time, we just did the first half of the final trial for this third case, and apparently Limoire did hear the gunshots, so she claims, but it was not from the window that was inside the crime scene. No, it was actually an air vent during the event for where she was doing her song on the second act of the concert. And we also learned that Makchi can talk. I mean, he can speak English. He understands it. So, and he's very worried about having to testify, doesn't want to. So, we have no choice but to call in a different witness, that being Darien Crescent, a detective on the scene, and hopefully we can bring this case to a close. Let's get on with it. July 10th, 2026. It's 1:40 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Apollo, I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act? And right in the middle of Limoire's performance? Why she was in that air vent and that switch, and the flaming guitar. When you think it all together, that's what you end up with. I knew you had what it took. Ah, Daddy! Mr. Wright! You believed in me? Not really. Huh? I just thought that he'd make a cooler entrance and say hiya. Why do I even bother hoping? Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all. Sorry about that, Trucy. I'm on a secret mission. Secret? You mean like you're undercover? Like Mr. Latouche, only shorter and not well dressed. Oh no. What if you're shot too, Daddy? Would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a little while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. Is that all you came to say? I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Machito right off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Darien Crescent. It won't be easy in proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. The current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Our case is based on one fragile assumption. Namely, that our Diva Divine is telling the truth. But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch. A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder. There are plenty of other ways to explain these things, the flaming guitar, too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case. But if the salty songstress is lying, your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind a faintly signed scent of failure. What should I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Ugh. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from our detective friend. Detective Sky? Emma? Let's see. This bag of snacks here was meant for me. Ah, here it is. What are those, Daddy? They don't look very much good at snacking material. They were found at the scene. Analysts of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder. Gunpowder? Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the ones kids are into these days. These fragments are found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa? Hey, Apollo! That's where we found that little device thingy. Right, this. Well, finally, some evidence that makes sense. That's all for me, I suppose. See you after the verdict, maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Darien Cranston's igniter and set it off. And he walked out the door, just like a magician, normally. What does he want us to do? No conventional methods? What does that mean? I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. I guess. We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy.
Court is now back in session. Prosecutor Gavin, where is this, Detective Crescent?
In the witness lounge, ready to be called in at any time.
Very well.
Might I add, I don't believe any of this. He, Darien, was the first detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs Division 3. But his guitar playing, it fires my imagination. That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. Correct? Oh, I know, Forehead.
Very well. Call the final witness to the stand. Detective Crescent! Detective Darien Crescent!
Name and occupation, please. Darien Crescent, Detective, Criminal Affairs Division 3. That's the International Affairs Division, and for those of you who don't know. And I'm a guitarist for the Gavinaires. Maybe you've heard of us.
Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today?
Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is, How you let this happen, partner? You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here. The situation's changed, Darien. And don't call me partner. So much for old friends. I see what you're doing, Darien. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial.
Yes, it's high time we did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lemoire's testimony. If in fact you have anything to say about it.
Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying, he must be a national pastime in Borginia. And wherever you're from, Mr. Justice, ha! Conventional methods are out of the window, huh? Here goes nothing! The diva's lying, plain and simple. Oh, she's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots? As if. Didn't Detective Emma Skye hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man.
So you claim Lemoire's testimony was a lie?
Hey, don't get me wrong. I dig what she's doing, trying to protect that kid. And she's got the court-eating vague statements out of her hand just 'cause she's blind.
You go too far, Darien.
Look, all I'm saying is, you've got a reliable witness. Why not listen to the detective?
Detective Skye? I see. Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination.
He didn't waste any time finding her weak spot. I can't do this with Lemoire's testimony alone. I'll have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place. The diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. You don't have any proof she was lying. Oh yeah, kid? You said I lied? No, I'm just saying, Apollo glared back at him. I couldn't help it. I flinched by reflex. Detective Crescent. Yeah? What do you want? Nothing. Apollo, chin up, back straight. You're wilting. This guy's hard as nails. He makes Walkie look downright cooperative. Look, there's no way the diva remembers my voice. In the first place, she never heard my voice. You never talked to her even though you were playing in the same concert? Not a word, as far as I can recall. But weren't there planning sessions or something? Gavin took care of all that himself. Darien wasn't involved in any of the meetings with her. As if you can go around remembering everyone's voice like that anyway. Only an idiot would believe that. Lemoire's hearing is very sensitive. She could remember him if she heard him. I'm sure of it. I just can't prove it. And I need proof. She forgot the words only because Has she heard gunshots? As if! We know she missed the words. Mixing board proves it. Oh yeah? There was a mistake! Hey, but blaming it on gunshots is just a lame excuse! What do you mean? The mixing board proves what? It proves there was a mistake in the song. A missed cue. So, she just flubbed it up. Big time, that's all. She spins this story about a gunshot to protect the kid. Hit a cover for her own goof. Man, I have to hand it to her. If she wasn't sticking it to me at the same time. Darian, watch what you say. Lamboir is an artist. She just flubbed it up? That's no small accusation for a performer of her caliber. She got to you, all right. Hey, I can see it in your eyes. I tell you, most of her stuff is so pretentious. It's way over my head. I'm detecting a rift in the governor's ranks. Anyway, she's too close to the defendant. Her testimony can't be trusted. You ask me, I'd go with Detective Sky's story at the drop of a pick. Didn't Detective Sky hear those gunshots during the third act anyway? Lot you know. Objection! Some things were found at the scene of the crime after yesterday's trial.
What things?
First was this small device. That's the remote-triggered igniter. Correct. And one other thing.
What are those? Who's the remains of something burnt? Not another guitar, I hope.
Traces of gunpowder were found on these fragments. We have a report that it was something like a firecracker. Eh? How did Gavin know about this? What? You think Detective Sky works for you? I received a report this morning before coming in. That's when I made my decision, actually.
What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin?
I registered Darian as a witness in today's trial. Just in case. This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third set could have been two firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control. You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing you think. Your explanation there seems a bit too convenient to me. How so? So you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off? Right when two witnesses came walking by. Ha! That's right. Darian was out on stage when it happened, Apollo. How would he know when someone was backstage right then? If the firework goes off in the forest and there's no one there to hear, you get my drift? Why go through the trouble, man? Ugh. How do I explain this? He may not look it, but Darian is a gifted detective. Show any weakness, and he's sure to find it. He may not look it, partner? Gee, thanks, man. That reminds me. I happened to pass through that very hallway several times that day myself. And I saw something odd there just before the third set. Something odd? A headset. The kind all the band members and staff members were wearing. That's right! We picked this up in front of the door to that dressing room. And if the headset wasn't dropped but placed? What if that headset wasn't dropped but placed? And what if it was turned on? You could hear what was going on that court hallway. Even if you were on stage! Whose side are you on, Gavin? Listen to me, Darian. There are no sides in the court of law. Which is why I now turn to you, Air Forehead. I have a question for you. Huh? For me? The igniter and the burnt fragments that were found at the scene of the crime. It's certainly a possibility that they were part of a ruse to fake the sound of a gunshot. Throw the headset from the hallway into the mix and you could fabricate an alibi. But we're still no closer to proving anything. Those gunshots might have been real or fake. We cannot say. You've raised the possibility that the gunshots heard during the third set were fake. Now you need to prove the other half of this case. The other half? Look, I'll just tell him. He wants you to prove the thing went down in the second act. He wants you to prove the thing went down in the second act. While our little piano player was on stage. That right, Gavin? Indeed. If you can't prove that, then to continue this cross-examination would be pointless.
Well, Mr. Justice? Can you prove the crime took place during the second set?
Yeah, I think. You better know, Apollo, otherwise we're through. It can't be proven. You make it sound like someone else is going to come along and do it for you.
Let's continue with the cross-examination then, shall we? Witness, your testimony if you would.
This isn't going to be easy. I need some decisive proof, and fast! Ha! You ready, kid? 'Cause I am. The shooting took place during the second set. If you're so sure, let's see your proof. Alright.
Objection!
It seems there was clear proof left behind. Right here in Lemoire's song. Her song?
What exactly is this, device thingy? A new variety of gramophone, perhaps?
Come on, we just used this. And don't get me started on gramophone. This device was used to record the performance part by part.
Part?
You move the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Lemoire's voice included.
Oh, but what does this prove?
According to Lemoire's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words to the song. Ah, you intend to examine the recording of that moment, yeah? We might even hear those gunshots! Exactly. Ha! Ridiculous! How are you supposed to hear gunshots back in that dressing room out on stage? Have you forgotten, Darian? We were all wearing these headsets. Oh. We were all deeply involved in our performance. But Lamwar's headset would have picked up what she heard all the time.
Let's get to analyzing that recording. Right now!
Lamwar stopped singing when she heard the shots fired. Find that spot and I'll find the gunshots. Okay. This is really a very tricky part to do, and I don't know how you're supposed to know this without a walkthrough. But I seem to remember this part. You have to select track 1 on the second statement, I believe. Wait a minute. Just give it a listen. Yeah, select track 1 and the second segment. Your Honor, listen closely to this part. This is the track with Lamwar's vocals.
I did hear something faintly there. Why, it sounded like a gunshot!
What? This has to be some kind of mistake. I believe a case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second set, which means Lamwar's testimony was true. Gah!
Order! So, she was telling the truth about what she heard?
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch, now! Just after that, there was a gunshot, and then the guitar caught on fire. Detective Crescent, you weren't on stage during the second set. You could have done it.
But why did he only hear one gunshot on the recording? Weren't 2 bullets heard from this weapon?
Lamwar was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot. The The gun fired again, and Mr. Latouse's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescent? Once again, I am reminded of something. A performance that day.
Your performance?
Seeing the mixing board jogged my memory. You were there too, Air Forehead. What is with today? Problem after problem. Astag! My hog won't start up, my guitar case is busted. My guitar's been burnt to a crisp, and on top of it all, someone's dead. And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? This part is off. Which is that? Second guitar. Ah! It was you, Darian! I thought it strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? You know how you play. You're better than that.
Yeah, well, You what? And Prosecutor Gavin, what are you getting at?
I'm talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Latouse's .45 caliber hand cannon. As we have learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. The kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur. Wait! You mean that his plane was affected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver? Ha! You're forgetting something.
Yes, Detective Crescent?
I'm a trained police officer, you know. I had firearm training, plenty of it. I'm no amateur. The standard firearm issued to police officers is a .38 caliber weapon. A much tamer beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Mr. Latouse, which suggests there was a struggle between killer and victim.
So, the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when it fired. Is that what you mean?
The thought has occurred to me, yes.
Well, does the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Crescent!
What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves rolled up ready for action has to say. Hey you, attorney! Me? Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? You got a little noise on a tape that could be anything. You have an alleged guitar cue miss due to a .45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin. I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager. And that's the obvious truth.
Then the witness has a point. The defense arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Crescent. Tell us your reasons why you couldn't have done it.
Proof of innocence. Come on, why would he even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. This wasn't that diva's first trip to this country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him?
A simple reason indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is the cause that Mr. Ledouce, who's had not been to our country before?
According to our records, yes, not even once.
I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination.
Great, now I need to find a motive. That's easy. Come on, why would he even want to kill that manager? Her manager, sure, but Mr. Ledouce was... Oh, right, sorry, an Interpol agent, wasn't he? I just have trouble picturing that big lunk as an undercover cop, you dig? And not a very good one, seeing as how he got wasted. That's cold, dang. That's cold, dog. Not that it matters either way. See, I had no reason to kill the man, whatever he was. You want a reason? Easy. I've got no motive, man. I beg to differ. Objection! Your Honor, take a look at this.
What's that? Looks like candy.
It's not. Don't lick it, please. Detective Crescent, ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings.
A cocoon? I've never seen one that color.
It is a variety only found in the Republic of Virginia. Nowhere else.
Alright, but what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with the motive for killing Mr. Ledouce, does it?
It does. Wait! I think it does. You don't sound so confident, man.
A cocoon? Is it one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you make, well, silk out of?
Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative.
A curative? For what?
Apparently, it's most effective at treating a disease through incurable. It is the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Virginia.
Whatever for? If it's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world?
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. We looked into the matter at some length. Apparently, it is difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet, if you change the process out slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact.
What?
There was an incident several years ago where some of these go out into the black market. It caused quite a commotion on the global community. Through the media was kept largely unaware.
Intriguing.
All this has led to was strict ban on the cocoon's export. One rigidly enforced by Interpol among others.
Interpol?
Right! The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescent, you insist on not knowing him as a manager, but that is misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent! So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country? That what you're trying to say? I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder. Oh, so I was going to sell it on the black market, make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous! I mean, totally unthinkable! Unthinkable, you say? Why?
Perhaps it's time for another testimony. About this smuggling of cocoons business.
Here we go, the last testimony. Cocoon smuggling. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them on the black market. Too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling isn't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, and I'm in international affairs. I know the deal.
Indeed. Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Latouche undercover.
You kids think of the craziest things. But no way am I going to risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money.
Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted.
According to the reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky.
Very well. You may begin your cross-examination.
This is the only motive I've got. He was up to something, and I'm going to find out what. Here we go. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons.
Hold it!
That memo. Oh, that's how you knew about the cocoons? Oh, nice one! Nice one! I'm running scared now. You had to know about about the cocoons to plan this.
Just how well known are these cocoons? I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I've never heard of them.
Well, Lemore knew about them, though not her use. My reports indicate that there are among ongoing efforts to control information about these cocoons. Most people only know they're illegal to export. That's all.
Then I've nothing to be embarrassed about after all.
You could say people like me who know about them are a minority, yeah. But that includes everyone in international affairs, man. And everyone in Interpol, too. Who, for that matter, yeah. Interpol's all hot and bothered about him.
Hold it!
So there are other Interpol agents like Mr. Latouche? All over the world, likely. Deep undercover, most of them. That's why these cocoons are too hot for the black market. You don't want Interpol sniffing around your wares. Most came to the conclusion that can't sell them to the black market. Too dangerous.
Objection!
Why not choose less? I would. That dialogue went way too fast. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they find out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell to the black market? Why sell to a black market buyer? How about someone like this?
That article! It's about the Chief Justice!
A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease, but a cure for incuritis.
Incuritis? I've heard of that somewhere.
You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning.
Aha! Why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son have. You aren't saying...
Our witness is a detective. If he would have contact with the Chief Justice...
Are you saying the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband?
Not even if to save his own son's life?
But even if the deal went through, why, it'd be an international scandal!
That's Detective Crescent's insurance. If word ever gone out... Well... The dialogue went too fast that time, too. So would the Chief Justice.
Detective Crescent, is this true?
First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler. How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway?
Distasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller.
Don't let sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice. What's your proof? Where's your proof? Well... Oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Bourguignon Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about cocoons getting out.
So we are informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination.
Bourguignon Customs is very thorough. Everything and everyone is checked. Everything?
Objection!
Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country. No checks.
What is it?
You become a prosecutor.
A prosecutor?
I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it that you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. The guitar befitting a woman like Lemoire. How did it end up here? I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, that she made it a present. So, this guitar is from Bourguignon? That it is. I couldn't carry it on the plane, changes in the air pressure and humidity ruined the wood. So, we vacuum sealed it in Lamboir's studio. We used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets of vacuum packed in Virginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was? With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar had some work done on it recently, right? Work? Good memory, Air Forehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It's called a sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort. A broken device? Yes, this in fact.
An igniter!
Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean... He means this, of course. There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. They could use picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone like a member of the band? Yuck!
Order, order, order! So, the igniter
Was placed in there for a clear reason, it seemed. It was a safety precaution!
A precaution?
Ah, air for a head. At last, it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, well, first, my keys were stolen and a harmless misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The keys were stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar.
I see.
But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band couldn't get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about that time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler.
What's that?
Mr. Latouche. Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He only had to check the shipping records. So, Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon were confiscated, then the gig would be up. The only thing left the smuggler to do was get rid of the whole lot.
It's over! Press the switch! Now!
the guitar burst into flames, and the cocoon was lost. And then, Mr. Latouche died, with Lamoire there to witness it. There's your case. Brilliant, man.
Detective Crescent?
I gotta know, you make all that up on the fly? For a made-up story, it makes quite a deal of sense, Darian. Huh? The Republic of Virginia? Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there. True, you haven't. Ha! Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. How'd I hide that cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not hard to imagine. You had help, a Borginian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamier heard that proves it. It's over. Press the switch now. You made this transmission from backstage, while your co-conspirator was on stage.
But who was it?
This is it, the coup de grace. Yes. And for once, I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him.
Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned. With a great accusation comes a great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice?
I'm sorry to say this, but it was...
Take that!
There's only one person who meets the requirements, and that person is the defendant, Mackie Tolbite.
But, Mr. Justice, he's your client!
The defense attorney accusing his client, that's a new one. I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But I am here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche. And I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of a peculiar crime.
Indeed. The defendant is Borginian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was, in fact, Lamoire?
It couldn't have been.
Well, you seem sure of yourself.
The reason? The electronic signals, Your Honor.
Electronic signals?
Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless.
Yes, that's true.
Now, think back to the testimony. When the shooter made this transition, Lamoire was in the air vent. And right above the dressing room, there was a the shooter said. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could have reached from the air vent.
Well, looking at this, it seems that Lamoire still could have done the deed.
No. When the shooter made that transition, the stage was slightly different than in the show there. It was in the middle of the guitar serenade. part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and Lamar stood there. They were on the tower, which is 15 feet. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lamar's position in the air vent. Ah! Well, Detective Crescent, what do you say to that? Your Honor.
Yes, Detective?
Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time.
Well, I don't see why not.
What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. Too bad, so sad, punk. Punk? First you were sleeves, then kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo.
What exactly were we supposed to see in this video?
The problem isn't what we see. Correct, Darian? Right. Hey, it wasn't... It's what you hear. Here, and we're musicians, after all. Care to explain him for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let me get her yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the wee pianist is to set off that igniter. That right? Yes. Well, in order to do that, he'd have to press the switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, take another listen and pay attention to the piano. Piano?
What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine.
And that's the problem, man. You still don't get it? Yeah. How's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with their hands free is the diva. Lamar. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out. If they couldn't even press the switch. The piano plays non-stop. He couldn't have pressed the switch.
Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire.
Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something odd about the performance there. Odd?
Mr. Justice, if Makitobai didn't press that switch, then he could not have been the accomplice you claim he is.
But everything points to it! Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. There's some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire, but the pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story is full of holes.
Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant, Makitobai, the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought.
Apollo? Oh, if Maki's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed that switch. Well, you better find out a way to prove it. All right. What do I do? What do I do? There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd? Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? Strange. What's strange? No, it's just something odd about the performance there. It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd?
Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this? Can you prove Makitobai pressed the switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Makitobai pressed the switch?
I can prove it. I don't know if you call this proof, per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then, as prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Firehead, you sure about this? Yeah, accept it. There's no evidence, man.
Let's hear your evidence, Mr. Justice. Oh, what do you base her claim? On what do you base your claim that the defendant pressed the switch?
The mixing board.
Take that!
The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor.
Music? What about music?
Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flames.
I hear a piano being played.
But it doesn't sound kind of doesn't it sound kind of simple?
Simple?
Ah, I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Maki might have played that part with one hand?
One hand?
He only needed to press that switch. He could play the piano with one hand. What? So you're some kind of piano savant? Actually, no. Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand. Ugh. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know. Hey, Trucy. Yeah? You got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he? Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had 3 hands. So sorry, so sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always a hard way. Man, how are you going to prove whatever you played it with 1 hand or 2? You can't! I admit, it would be rather difficult to prove. But it's highly likely that he was playing with 1 hand. How do you know that? The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song. No. No way!
Well, it seems we have come to the moment of truth, who've at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with 1 hand. Right before the guitar burst into flames.
Machi was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire. And the section of this song proves it. Oh boy. One, two, three, four. Okay. It was right here. Just give it a listen. That's the piano, yeah? Number 4. Don't worry, this is the last time we hear of the guitar serenade. Hopefully. Only it's the piano version of this song. We're just trying to find a contradiction. Almost there. It was the 4th.
That's the section? I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion on as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin?
It's a beautiful song, and the lyrics are outstanding.
I'll take that to mean there isn't a problem with this section at all.
Wait, so what was the odd thing that Gavin heard? The switch was pressed as in the first half and the second of the second verse, right? I know. I just need to find a place to compare to that. Your Honor, if you'll give me one more chance, hence I think I can find it.
I suppose we don't have a choice. Very well.
Wait, that was wrong? Okay.
You claim that the defendant was playing the piano with 1 hand. And when the switch was pressed. Show us the part that proves it.
Maki was definitely playing with 1 hand, just before the guitar caught fire. One section of the song proves it. Oh boy. Let's see. Let's see. I'm not much of a musician, but listening to it a second time, I believe it's the first segment.
Take that!
Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you realized it yourself, Fair Forehead.
Realized what?
I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to who the but a fleeting melody phase. Man. And how many times do we have to listen to the same song? You're right. Enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we?
Another section?
The guitar bursts into flames at the end of the second verse. Listen to that same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to all that night in your embrace.
Play verse 2 again. They feel the same, true. But they're certainly very different.
What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple. But the same phrase in verse 1 has a high and low notes. You have to use two hands to play that for sure. What's that prove? I would think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. So the two verses had different arguments. Hence, happens all the time. Not this time, Darian. There's no point in changing the arrangement, and if you can't hear it clearly, and that wasn't the point, I had him play specifically that so that the piano would stay in the background. Oh! That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different? I asked myself. Now ask yourself why Maki changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand to press that switch.
Order! I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, quite. Though, personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment.
Heh.
What? No comeback? I can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up.
Very well. Oh. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter.
Good show, Sleeves. Now, great show. It's not over? I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. In you, Airforehead. Huh? Me? Yes, don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The fact all checks out. Oh, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts, anyone can see it was him.
Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it.
But...
1,000 facts might point towards the same conclusion. But without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system.
I don't believe it!
It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present.
Oh, I think if he did, we already would have seen it a long ways back.
It is so unfortunate. But at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation.
What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they all see it? What's the point of the legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what Daddy said? It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Ugh. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Darian Creston's igniter and set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. I think he just meant a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion. I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal. So, can I get back to work now, or what? I may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney.
Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go.
Every man has an igniter.
Huh?
Didn't you say better get the guitar, the brighter it burns? Prosecutor Gavin? Yes. Good guitars are kept dry, is why. That proves the best sound. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning. What? Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good. Go for it, Apollo. What? And this igniter is supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm rather fond of poetry. And I intend to hear this one through the very end. Air forehead. You are accusing this man, Daring Crescent, of 2 crimes. Murder of Mr. Latouche and smuggling of the Borginian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case.
This trial has already run on for far too long. Mr. Justice, this will be your last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then let's have it. Show us the basis of these accusations against Darien Crescent.
Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Darien Crescent's plan is... call a witness! Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. Huh? So what is? It's true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I need to prove my case is something else.
You mean
A witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the one person to do it.
very well, Mr. Justice? Who is this person who can prove Darien Crescent's guilt?
Well, who do you think it is?
Take that!
The one person who can prove Darien Crescent's guilt is the defendant, Maki Tobite!
Your client? Again?
Maki Tobite was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darien Crescent could not have gotten this far with the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted the smuggling cocoon, plotted to smuggle that cocoon, is the real criminal of this case.
How so?
It would require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latouche was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Virginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we doubt also found inside the burned out guitar.
Aha! Very scientific of you.
Thus, if Maki Tobite acknowledges his agreement with Darien Crescent concerning the attempt smuggling of a Virginia cocoon, the case is solved! Darien's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? The little key tickler won't acknowledge anything. Especially not anything to do with a Virginian cocoon smuggling.
What's this all about?
Taking a Borginian cocoon out of the country means death. By Borginian law. Ah! Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide! Believe me, he's not taking... But you're wrong, Detective Crescent. What? It's the other way around. If Maki Tobite doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble! Huh? How? Look, if Maki admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Virginia, and they'll likely broadcast our dealings in the court today, including the part about the Virginian cocoon. Yeah, but... But if Maki doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Virginian police. And it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here. Not now. Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me. Maybe the law doesn't allow it, but who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Maki Tobite. Ugh. The cocoon smuggling your entire plan. Maki Tobite knows everything. There's only one way out for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling. Breakdown. Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll get you up someplace. A hidden mansion, real nice. You want a house made out of cookies? Or no, a house made out of pianos? Come on. Please! Don't talk! Darian, I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing that we can treat that outburst as a confession. Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though.
Well, you have been listening to the entire... Have you been listening to the entire trial?
Yes.
And you'll talk. You'll tell this court everything?
I didn't want it to turn out this way, but I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all up for your benefit, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew. From beginning, I knew. Machi. Situation I cannot explain, but money I needed. Very much money.
Today's trial raises a delicate issue in our legal system. The only thing definite in our courts is evidence. This is the golden rule. However,
it has become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard.
Should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Maki Tobite.
Yes?
I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards of the current charges for for the murder of Mr. Latouche, this court is prepared to announce the verdict.
I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth.
That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Maki Tobite, not guilty. Court is adjourned.
I wonder what will happen to Maki. Well, he did smuggling a cocoon out of Bolginia. I guess there'll be another trial here. All's well and ends well. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. Lamoir? My, is something wrong? I'm sorry. Nachi was your partner on stage. Your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet, something got a hold of him. Something evil. I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation. It was my suggestion, actually. You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I've always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving. According to a doctor, Lamoir lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffered from amnesia. I fear that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I have been running from. I was scared. You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If the light heat returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting. Painting? That's right! She was the landscape painter of sound, after all. I will paint the two of you, I promise. Woohoo! I can't wait, Lamoir! I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Huh? Mr. Wright, but for what? You remind me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Trucy. I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet, me too. And so, like a ballad, the trial followed, hold on and on, until it came to the end. Thanks to the trial, the Guitar Serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have them catch the killer at the end. And that's the end of this episode, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we will be starting the final episode of Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney. Turnabout Succession. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment if you want. Ring that bell to be notified when our next video comes out. All of this helps my channel to grow so you guys can have more videos to enjoy. We do new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and occasionally Saturday and Sundays. Till the next video, this is Saur Darkchylde signing off. Have a good night, folks, and enjoy watching the trailer for the next case.